Shalom everyone, and welcome to this channel once again. We thank the Lord for giving us another opportunity for us to share what we have about the youth today. And before we continue, as now has become our custom, I want to ask my wife to pray.
Thank you, Lord, that you're with us. We trust you for a fruitful time. Be with us, be with the viewers. Cause what you're putting in our hearts to get across to everyone aright for your glory, so that we will act in accordance with your will. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. We want to proceed with our series of videos. And today we are in chapter 5 of this book. And most of you now that know that we have been kind of serializing this book. And in this chapter 5, it is entitled A Flurry of Questions, No Solid Answers. I want to read a part of this chapter 5 so that it gives us a foundation and background of what we're going to talk about in this session. Before I delve into the world of questions the youth ask, let me point out a few things. Asking questions is normal. Inquiring stems from a desire to know. A normal mind has an unending quest for knowledge. One of the ways of gaining knowledge is asking questions. Questions come from a thinking mind. In the scriptures, God encourages his people to come for a reasoning fellowship with him. Isaiah 1:18. In my opinion, asking questions is one of the ways of loving the Lord with all your mind. All factors held constant, the art of asking questions should be encouraged. In our culture, that is the Gikuyu culture, there is a saying that goes, "Kiuria getiohanagirwo," which means one is not prosecuted for asking questions. A wise man is known not by his ability to give answers to questions asked, but his ability to ask the right questions. If you ask the wrong questions, you get the wrong answers. If you keep asking the right questions and getting the right answers, that is wisdom. And we want to talk about the questions that youth ask. And when we're talking about the youth, we are not just talking about people probably between 15 and 25. We even go a little lower and ask, which questions are children also asking? Because we have noted that some of the questions that the youth are asking ought to have been answered a long time ago when they were children. But one, there may not have been time for them to ask those questions in the right context. Two, there might not have been people to answer the questions. So context and people. Wrong contexts, questions that the young people are asking are not asked. And two, there sometimes are not the right people to ask the questions. Do you have any thoughts about questions?
Our 6-year-old just today asked me this question: does God have a mother? And of course we went through that conversation, a very interesting one, as I answered and she asked me again. But it is said Jesus had a mother when he came on earth, and we went through it. And our older daughter said from the other side of the room, answering her, God doesn't need a mother. And you see, that's a very serious question if you look at it, because I would have chosen also to ignore it, just thinking this is child play, you know. One other time when we were, just having supper at table, she says, you see, people keep saying, for God so loved the world. What is this world? And we were all standing to silence because we assumed it's obvious. I mean, the answer to the world is so obvious. And so you see, right from when children are young, they are asking questions. And when they get to older children, like our older daughter, they are asking questions. They get to their teenage, they get to their late 18s, they are always asking. People are asking questions. And of course, I believe this is one of the ways of loving God, like we have said, with all our minds. It's one of the ways of stretching, I believe, our knowledge base. It's one of the ways of helping us to grow, and especially, like we have said, when we ask the right questions and get the right answers. And that's why we are saying we cannot ignore questions being asked by young people right from the time they can ask questions. Even us, we ask questions because we need to know, we need to grow in knowledge.
Some of the questions we hear the youth ask are questions of origin. Where did I come from? Where did life begin? That's a question of where we came from. And the second question is the question of significance. What am I here for? What is the objective of God creating me here, and what has He put me here for?
And some other questions that young people ask, of course, is where am I headed? What is going to happen in the future? And of course, this is the question of destiny, because we are all asking that question in some way. Actually, we came to the Lord because we had that answer. And of course, the other one is the question of morality. What is right? What is wrong? What is bad? What is good? What determines that?
The other question is the question of suffering. Why does God allow suffering? Why is there so much pain in the world? Why is there hunger in some parts of the world? Storms and whirlwinds and all these kinds of things that diseases, like now we are still in the pandemic of COVID-19. Why is there suffering in the world today? The other question is, what is true? What is real? What is authentic? That is a question also we hear young people ask.
And one of the other questions I always thank God for, that I know Him, is the question, does God speak? Can He speak to me, personally? And that's a question being asked over and over again, that we trust the Lord will be answered as we continue with these sessions. Another question young people will ask is, why is there so much expectation placed on me as a young person from my parents, from the church, from the school, from various authorities? Why is there so much expectation placed on me? No wonder when this question doesn't get an answer, then we see a very wrong interpretation of the same by the actions of young people, or people who are seeking these answers.
The other question we hear young people ask is, why do I feel so empty? Why am I hollow? Why don't I feel like there is any fulfillment in my life? And the other question is about marriage. What is the purpose of marriage? What did God intend when He was bringing a husband and wife together? What's the purpose of children? What is the place of marriage in the society, in the nation? So these are not just all the questions that it's not exhaustive, but these are some of the questions that we seek even to answer through these sessions that we are having. And whenever we are interacting with the youth, ministering to them, they come to our house, or we have a seminar or a camp, we find them asking these questions. And in this book that we have been serializing and that we have written, some of the questions have been answered, but more questions also have been asked. So we would invite parents, youth workers, pastors, youth, other people who are interested in the young generation to ask these questions with us, because it is by asking that we seek answers. When we seek answers from the Lord answers those questions. And even in that seeking for answers and expecting the Lord to answer, we have fellowship with the Lord, and therein we get answers. What do you think?
And I would add that I believe one of our take-homes as we listen to this video is just to walk with a consciousness of the fact that we have people around us. Of course, we are focusing on the youth in this channel, but you know that there are people around us, children around us, who are asking questions. And just an answer, being able to pose and answer a question can deal with an inner crisis, can give an answer, can change the course of the life of a young person forever. And so that's why we are saying in this channel, also even as we talk about this chapter, that we want to take time to listen to the Lord, to pause, never to ignore a question. Like many of us parents will do, we will tell children, no, don't disturb me, don't. But we want to trust the Lord that we can be able to sit down, take each question with a seriousness, or assume that even if it is not asked in the seriousness it deserves, always know that there is either a young person is finding out whether you're serious, before they can bring out the real issues in their lives. So we want to take that very serious and answer the questions that the young people have.
So we want to end there, and as we end, we want to just think a bit more deeply about what the Lord is saying about our relationship with children, because the right context breeds the right answers. The right questions. And now with the right questions answered, then our children are able to grow, and the relationship that we have with them grows. So maybe you can conclude.
And also being able to provide a secure environment as we answer also builds trust in children and the young people, so that we can be able to catch them at just the right point to be able to point them towards the Lord. And so a flurry of questions, that's our topic today.
No solid
answers. Really, we want to say a flurry of questions. As the Lord enables us, we can give solid answers as older people. So thank you for joining us today. Consider subscribing to this channel. We would really appreciate that. Liking and sharing it. We would like you to be part of these conversations. We would want to hear from you, to hear your comments. But now, until our next video, let's just say bye. God bless you.
Amen.